Hi guys, and welcome to writing inverse variation equations. What we're going to look at is if you're given a value for x and y and told that they vary inversely, how are you going to write that equation? The first thing I want to do is I want to look at what does this mean. Okay, so if you're given a value for x and y, you can think about that as one specific point on the graph. So if we graph y equals a divided by x, it's going to be some kind of curve. It's going to have an infinite number of points on it, right? Because there's more than one point on any graph that we do. So this would be just one example of a point that would be on our graph. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at what would other points look like. How could we figure out what the other points are on this graph if the only information we're given is that they vary inversely, okay? So we're going to use the given values to write an equation relating x and y. And so what we need to do is we need to remember, what does inverse variation mean? Well, what it means is that y equals some number divided by x. So all we need to do is just find this number in order to write the equation. All right, so we're going to just always start, it's really good practice just to start by writing your actual equation that they give you. So y equals a over x, and I'm going to just do over like that because it's just a little bit easier to see that division right there. Okay, so y equals a over x, and now I'm going to plug stuff in, right? So 12 is my y, so I get 12 equals a, which I don't know, so I'm just going to leave that as a, over my x, which is 3. So a over 3. All right, and then all I have to do is solve this for a. So I have a on top. I need to get rid of this division right here, and the way that you get rid of division is by multiplying. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to multiply both sides by 3, all right, to get rid of this 3. So I'm going to multiply this by 3, and I'm going to multiply this side by 3. And then once I've done that, okay, on this side, those will cancel out, and I just end up having a left over. And then 3 times 12 is 36. All right, so I know that 36 is a, okay, but it doesn't say what is a. It says use the given values to write an equation. So we need to write an equation. Remember back to when you were doing lines where you had to figure out what the slope and the y-intercept were, what m and b are if you have y equals mx plus b, and then you plug them in, but x and y stay the same. We are going to do exactly the same thing, right? So we have y equals a over x. So all we are going to do, we're just going to plug in a, just that one value. So the equation that would relate these two would be y equals our a, which is 36, so 36 divided by x. All right, and that is an equation that will relate these two, and that's all we need for that equation. And then these problems are also going to ask you to do just one more thing. They're going to ask you to find y when x equals 0.5. So what that really means is you're going to find what would y be when the x coordinate is 0.5. So you're finding another point on the graph. So this would give you one point on the graph, 3, 12, and then you're also going to get a point 0.5 comma whatever we find for y. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just plug this in here. Let me grab a new color for that as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and plug this in. We're just going to plug in this x, okay? So when it says that y equals 12, it only means one y. It only means the y that goes with this specific x right here. So we're going to ignore that. We use that 12 to find out what a is, but now that we know what our actual equation is, we're just going to look there, all right? So we're going to go ahead and just plug in our x that they give us, right? X equals 0.5. It's written right there, all right? You'll have directions like that in your book as well. And so when you plug it in, you're going to get y equals 36 divided by 0.5. Now 0.5 is the same thing as just 1/2, and dividing anything by a half is the same thing as multiplying it by 2. So 36 divided by 1/2 is 72, and you get that y equals 72. And that's both parts of that problem. There you go.